Well, we've highlighted some of my favorite runs, some of my favorite QB runs. Now let's talk about how we can build off of those with some of my favorite RPO plays to use in college football 26. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC CFB, where you can see all kinds of college football video game content with me, JC. Here today to talk about 10 of my favorite RPO plays to run on college football 26. Love the run game, and the way you can build off the run game once you start being effective with it is by moving to some RPOs where then you can hit some passes off of those plays. You still got the read option built in on some of these. A lot of fun stuff to highlight that we're going to get into here when we talk about these 10 RPOs momentarily. But before I do, just a quick reminder, if you haven't, be sure to subscribe here to the channel. Get these gameplay tips directly into your feed. Going to keep those coming. We got Dynasty series. We got Road to Glory series. So if you're a fan of the college football video game, be sure to keep it locked here. We also update all the news. We'll be, covering college football 27 news before you know it. So be sure you're subscribed here to the channel. But if you're someone that can't get enough, consider hitting that join button down in the video description below or on the YouTube channel homepage. For a low price, you get playbook tips, you get mini schemes, you get all kinds of bonus content where I really try and help you build your offense in college football 26, more so than you even find on this main channel. And I really appreciate that support from our channel members that help keep this mic recording and that camera rolling. But if you can't support us that way, you can help us out fast, easy, and free just by hitting that thumbs up button while you're in here watching the video. That helps us a ton with that YouTube algorithm, helps us find more college football video game fans like yourself. That being said, no further ado, let's highlight my top 10 favorite RPOs right now on college football 26. All right, let's get into my top 10 RPOs, which probably could have made a top 15 list, but I don't want to make this video too lengthy. So we're going to start off with some RPO read plays. I think like half of this list are RPO reads, which if you don't know a lot about RPOs, you have read RPOs, peak RPOs, and alert RPOs. Read RPOs are personally my favorite because you get the added element of having, the read option built in to where, not only can you hand it or throw it like you can on any RPO, but you can also pull it and run with the quarterback like you can on read option plays, which you guys know are some of my favorite plays on the game. So good majority of these here in this RPO video are going to be RPO reads, starting with motion RPO read flat out of shotgun trips tight end. That's the first play we're going to highlight here. And you can find this play in the Maryland playbook and in the San Diego State playbook. All right, so we're going to come out here, and you see what I like about this play is really, especially against CPU, against users, it really can open up the run because a lot of times they'll follow that motion because you're going to see our slot man come out wide here, and you kind of have the option to swing it out to him. And a lot of times against the computer, he'll get out wide enough that you can get decent yards on a swing to him. But other than that, like if you're playing a user and they're following that motion, then you're essentially just going to run read option. See the R key there above the defensive end? That's your read key. Whatever he does depends on what you do. If he stays home, you hand it off to the running back. Don't push anything. He comes crashing inside, attacking that running back, pull it and run with the quarterback. That's your three options here on the RPO read plays. Let's start it off here with RPO read flat. So here we get that outside motion, and boom, look. Get outside, get a blocker. That's first down right there. Comes in motion. This time I'm going to show you the quarterback run aspect. See that defensive end crash? Pull it with the quarterback, get a few yards. Also, the good thing about the RPO reads, on the other plays, if you don't make the decision in time, you can't really throw it. Now, you don't want to wait too long to throw it here either because you could potentially get an ineligible man downfield penalty, offensive pass interference, those type of things if you wait too long on RPO. But say you get the motion on RPO read, you can pull it and then throw it as well. So kind of on the RPO reads, you have a little bit extra time because if you run that read option right there and you pull it with the quarterback, then you can throw it again after that as well. Let's try it one more time here. I just wanted to showcase that. I really didn't make the correct read necessarily on that play, but I just wanted to showcase that you can pull it and then throw it on the RPO reads as well. So you can see when you dump it off to that swing man, you can get positive yardage on this play more often than not. Boom. There he is again. Especially see he's just quick enough to get around that guy, and it's a first down almost every time. Because if anything, you're going to be one-on-one. A lot of times you're going to be free until you get 5 so yards downfield. Let's see if we can show you the read option aspect one more time. We're going to just read this in and kind of ignore our throw man so you guys can see the other element of the play here. Crashed in, pull it with the quarterback and take off. There you go. Perfect. I wanted to get one where I can hand it off here so you guys can see all three elements of the play. Let's see if we can get one where he stays home. No, he crashed again. See how I pull it and then throw it late there? I don't know if that'd be a penalty or not in a real game. There's a possibility, but it's there. So this time they pulled a man down in the box, and now your read key changed. You always want to check and make sure your read key, because sometimes the defense will change alignment. That read key will change. We'll hand it off on that one. It doesn't exactly stay home, but close enough for you guys to see kind of the different elements of the play there. So there's one RPO. All right, next up, let's get in a split back formation here. Split twins Y off, motion, RPO, read, slide. You got a motion with this one attached as well. Your tight end coming in motion. And then you have a slide man to throw to as one of the running backs. And then you're kind of running read option with the other back in the backfield. And you can find this in the Ball State playbook, the Georgia Tech playbook, the Kansas playbook, and the Navy playbook. All right, so here you go. Your tight end's coming in motion towards the other side. And then one thing to keep in mind is sometimes when you have motion like that, that read key can change. So you want to double check on that when you go through. Now, in this formation, your fullback will be the other running back. As you can see here, McBee is the fullback in the backfield with me. But via formation subs, what I like to do is I like to put, two halfbacks in there. Haven't done that, obviously, because it's just, play now practice. But in Dynasty, that's what I do, and have both of my first running back and second running back there in the backfield together. But you can see you running essentially read option with the fullback, and your halfbacks going out as an option to throw to. Read key didn't change. Dump it off to the halfback, let him get outside, get some yards. Couldn't quite get loose, but you can see how it can be effective. Let's see what we got here. He stays at home. Let's hand it off to our fullback. See, he's not quite quick enough, but you see that was the correct read there, is to hand it where that defensive end kind of stood up. Let's see what we got this time. Same read. And there you go. You can see if you have your halfback in there, that's probably, 10 yards versus 5 there with my fullback. That time they came crashing in. Pull it with your quarterback. And see, sometimes if you just wait a tick right there like I did on that one, you wait a tick and you saw them crash towards the fullback. They bit on that motion. They bit on that fake. See if we can get one to the running back here to wrap this up. There you go. There you go. There's your decent one. And, of course, Jaheim White breaks it and makes a play. We'll end it on a tutty. Motion RPO read slide out of the split twins Y off. Continuing with our RPO read plays, this one is super effective, especially, I think, in short yardage. You can really use this and, get some nice plays on it, get some nice gains. I love to use it near the goal line, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, 3rd and 1, stuff like that, because people are playing the run. And sometimes you can leak this tight end out, get a nice little pick up there, and move the chains. So we're going to go RPO read Y flat out of shotgun open flex. You can find this in the Florida State playbook, the North Texas playbook, and the Ohio playbook. All right, so same as ever with the read option there. You got your read key. Your tight end is leaking out with 2 blockers there. And then you also have a backside slant, which personally I don't hit too much, but, maybe I should more often. Maybe we'll try and throw it in one time here as we showcase this. But let's run it here the first time, see what we get. Boom, there it is. Dump it to the tight end. Look at that. Blocker in front. Easy first down right there. He just got, 11, 12 yards in the first play. And 9 times out of 10, to me, that's the easiest read, is to hit that tight end. But if they go out and they cover that, then hand it off to the running back or pull it on the read option with the quarterback. Boom. Right there, tight end, easy money. And you can see why this is effective, especially in short yardage. You need a yard or two. Everybody's going to come crash in this middle, and you just go, boop, right out here. There we go. Go ahead and get a few yards there real quickly. I mean, we've gotten, first down, 3 plays in a row, just dumping to the tight end, so you can see how effective that is. Let's try and see if we can get a read here with the handoff or the read option. Yep, there we go. He crashed in. Perfect. Pull it with the quarterback. Keep it. Another pickup of a first down there. See if we can get one where we hand it here. No, he crashed again. So we'll take off again. That's fine. Stay home. I want to hand this ball off. There we go. So that's the right read there when they stand up. Like you see how he stood up, didn't crash. You want to hand that ball off. I want to see if I can hit this backside slant. I've never really tried on this play too much. Oh, yeah, there it is. So that's an option too as well. You saw the linebackers. That's kind of what you're reading there, especially that overhang defender. I mean, if he stays home, you obviously don't want to throw that backside slant at all. But to me, the number one read is definitely that dump off to the tight end. As you can see, even there when they bid on it, that's still 2 or 3 yards, and that's why I say it's effective in short yardage. So big fan of RPO read Y flat. Next up, we got RPO read wide receiver screen, and this is out of your wide stack formation. And the reason I like this play is because a lot of times in short yardage, I'll run inside zone. out of this wide stack formation. And I like to have RPO read wide screen as one of my audibles in case they load up the box, and I'll show you why. But this play can be found in multiple playbooks. You can find it in East Carolina's, Kennesaw State's, Mississippi State's, Old Dominion, Ole Miss, San Diego State, San Jose State, Southern Miss, Tennessee, Texas State, Texas Tech, USF, and the Veer and Shoot playbooks. So, I like to line up in this wide stack formation, run inside zone a lot, but then if they start to key on it, let's say they bring guys into the box. Like right now, you would be fine to run inside zone because you got a hat on a hat, 5 defenders versus your 5 linemen, but say they bring a 6th or 7th defender in the box, then you would want to run this because then you have the option. They're going to leave that edge defender unblocked, and you're reading him with the read option. And then, of course, you also have the quick hitters to your outside receivers who are really wide on now screens. Let's see how this play runs first off here. Crashes. Go ahead and keep it with your quarterback. Take off there. Get you what you can. Now here, see, here's a perfect example. See how the box is loaded up? Like inside zone wouldn't work out the best here. But if you run this, it can work because you're leaving that edge defender unblocked. You got a hat on a hat everywhere else, and you just got to make the correct read on that edge defender. Boom, which I did right there, pulling it and letting the quarterback take off, and that's a big gainer. And then, of course, you have your quick hitters outside. Look at this, look at the read key. Look at the read keys all the way out there. And you got a hat on a hat inside. This is the automatic handoff. Don't push anything, just give it to this running back. And follow those blocks. And see here, if you ever see it like this, where they're really loaded up inside, and look out there to your right. You have one corner for one blocker, and look how far off he's playing. When you snap this, you want to hit it out there to circle, hit the screen. So this will be the third option on the play, and we'll get a look at all three real quick. Boom. He gets his block. That's a big gainer as well. So there is RPO read wide receiver screen out of shotgun wide stack. Next up, we're getting in shotgun doubles wide off. Doubles Y off, I should say, actually. And I know a lot of people love bubble screens as far as RPOs. They're not my personal favorite, but I will include one here, the one that I actually do like a little bit, and that's over RPO read bubble. And I like it because this is typically a formation where that wide receiver's lined up on the left, but when you get in this play, he comes over on the right and is in the slot there for the read bubble here out of shotgun doubles Y off, which you can find this play only in the UTSA playbook, actually, unless you make a custom playbook like me and have it in yours. But let's take a look here. So, like I said, your outside receiver that's usually on the left comes over here, lines up in the slot, and he's kind of misaligned here, and he goes out on a bubble. So you have him to swing to with a couple blockers there, and then, of course, you have the read option as this is the final one of the RPO reads. Like I said, half of these are RPO reads because they're my favorite, and here is another one. We're going to read that in, and we have a bubble screen as an option as well. Boom. Good blocks there. Go ahead and hit the bubble, get what you can, which is about 10 yards. Perfect. Let's read it again. This time he crashes. Go ahead and pull with the QB. And honestly, that would probably been a penalty, in real life and in a real game scenario, since we're in practice here. But you do have that option to pull and throw. Be careful, though, because if you do like I just did, that's probably going to be an offensive pass interference penalty or an eligible man downfield penalty if you wait too long. Let's read it again here. The defender stays at home. Oh, if he just held that block for a split second, that was probably going to be a touchdown if I could have got that outside. So, honestly, on this, the main thing you're targeting is probably that bubble. Not to say the run's not viable at times, but for me, if I'm going to run a bubble, it's going to be this one because I like the way that it sets up, and I like it being my outside receiver, your number one receiver that comes over and into the slot. So you could just go ahead and hit him real quick, get you a few yards, right there near first down yardage. And typically, like I said, you had to get on the other play. A lot of times I'm going to run these RPOs with flats, RPOs with bubbles. For me, it's typically a short yardage type deal when guys are going to be crashing inside a lot, and you have an option in case they plug that middle to swing it out. Boom. They crashed in that time. That's a good pull for the quarterback there. Boom. So we've seen a little bit of each aspect there. Should have had a big run on the halfback keeper, but wasn't blocked the best. But there's a nice run on the quarterback pull, and we've seen some options on the bubble as well. All right, now let's move into a couple RPO peaks here. One of my favorites is RPO QB draw peak pop out of shotgun wing trips over week. And, I will go ahead and note here that there are a few QB RPOs that are probably even more of my favorites than these few that I show you on this video, but that's because I highlighted them on the QB runs video. So if you haven't seen them yet, check out the QB runs video where I snuck in a couple of RPO plays there as well. But let's talk RPO QB draw peak pop out of shotgun wing trips over week. You can find this in Boston College, Central Michigan, Kansas State, or Northwestern's playbooks. And on this one, pretty simple. You're going to either have a bubble, you're going to have a peak route, which to me, that peak route, that pop route, to Grayson Barnes, the tight end there is your main read. That's the P defender right there, so you're kind of reading. If he comes crashing down, flip that in behind him, and you can get some big plays off this. If not, run the QB draw, man. Run the QB draw, and then if all else fails, hit the bubble. That's the way I kind of play it here. I go pop route to draw to bubble. Boom, pop route. And if they weren't blitzing so heavy, I could have probably waited another second, and that probably would have been even a bigger play. But they were coming in quick, so sometimes you just got to get that thing off. Let's check this out again. Oh, there he is again. Right there. That time he split the safeties as well, as the safety came crashing down to cover that bubble. There we go. There we go. That time they covered the... See the way they backed off, and then you just kind of run draw up the middle. Let's hit the bubble once, too, so we can get all aspects of this play in. Boom. So you can see the nice options here on the RPO, QB draw, peek pop. And then the last RPO peek I want to highlight here is motion RPO glance post out of shotgun wing trio, which you can find in the Arkansas State playbook, the Kansas playbook, the Virginia playbook, and the Wisconsin playbook. Now, I know when you look at the play here, the glance route, which is that post, is kind of what's highlighted as your main read here. But personally for me, I like to hit that little quick out route a lot. I think that motion draws eyes the other way, and sometimes you can hit that quick out pretty easily. And then, of course, you have the option to hand to the running back if you want to, and then you're glancing that safety for that post route as well, potentially. See the read key up on the safety? That's because that's who you're reading for the glance route. So ideally, if he comes crashing in, you can hit that glance route behind him. But like I said, a lot of times, especially if they're in man, and when I bring this motion, he follows that guy, that quick out can get open. Let's check out, see what happens here. And of course, if all else fails, don't hit anything, hand it off to your running back, and just follow the blocks. But I mean, look at him. See, they come in motion with him. See the way they shifted their defense to where now he has outside leverage. Terrible throw by me, but did you see the outside leverage it created with the motion? Watch again. Look, he's got leverage again. Boom. I mean, you got to make a good throw. I've made 2 back-to-back bad passes because I'm getting excited here. There you go. That's the way it should look. That's the throw you should make, and boom, that's a first down. And a lot of times that's my go-to on this play is hit that out route. But let me try and see if I can show you some of the other options on this thing as well. Let's try and see if we can get one where we hand it. Boom, that's a good read where we hand it. There's another first down pickup. And also, I guess I should mention, you can, if all else fails, that circle can be a check down. You can hit really quickly if they're coming on a blitz or something and you want to get it off quick. Throw it to that motion man. Oh, look, the safety came down. If he blitzes, let's see if we can hit this glance post behind him. Let's see if we can fit it in there. Yep, here he comes down. Boom, fit it right in there. So there's your glance route. There's your post on the backside. So you're peeping that safety. Sometimes you can hit that as well. So there's your options on our motion, RPO, glance, post. All right, let's move on to our final 3 that we're going to highlight here, and they're all RPO alert plays. And a couple of them involve the buck sweep, which you guys know, one of my favorite run plays on this game. I've talked about outside zone and getting outside being my favorite run plays on this version of college football so far. And first of all, we're going to highlight orbit, RPO, buck, alert, swing out of shotgun doubles, halfback weak, which you can find in the Georgia Tech playbook. All right, so I really like this because that bubble option is great against the computer, and then against users, what are they going to do a lot of times? They're going to follow that bubble motion because they know they have to cover that. If not, you're going to hit it and get easy yardage, so they have to follow that guy. Who are they going to use to follow that guy? Probably one of their linebackers, maybe one of their safeties. Either way, say they take a guy and move him over that way when you're playing a user, what does that do? That gives you more numbers to the side where you're running the buck sweep. So either way, they can't necessarily cover both of these things. The only thing that they can hope if they do that is that one of their AI defenders gets off a block and makes a play before you can make a big one. But against the computer, a lot of times, this bubble right here is going to be what you hit, just quick and easy. Boom. And especially when they crash in the way they did there, that's easy money. See, this time they pull somebody down on this side. We're probably going to throw the bubble again. Not even the best block. That defender right there in the slot, you see he was unblocked, and we still almost got 10 yards. I want to see if we can get a read where we can hand this thing off, but so far It's just right there for that bubble, which is, that first read. And then if it's covered, like I said, against user games, a lot of times it will, and you're going to run this buck sweep back the other way. So don't know if we're going to get enough of a good look at the buck sweep here against the computer. As you see, I tried, but it wasn't the proper read. I should have threw it, but I'm just trying to get one where I can show you guys the buck sweep as well. Yeah, see, they're bringing it down from the backside every time right now. See, look, they're overloading this side, man. I mean, there's nobody over here. It's crazy not to throw this orbit swing pass. But I'd love to get a read where I could just show you guys the buck sweep. Yeah, that's decent enough. Well, I thought it was going to be if I could have cut inside that guy. See the way the middle opened up? And that's what you need to keep an eye for. I know this is an outside run, the buck sweep, and you're trying to go outside. But especially if they got a user and they take that middle linebacker or something and follow that buck sweep motion, cut that thing back inside, get up the middle, and get yards as well. There we go. That's what we're talking about. And that's typically how it's is on that buck sweep right there. If you get to the outside, easy first down yard. So there's orbit RPO, buck alert swing. And then continuing on with the buck sweep action here. I like this one. It's the reload motion. If you guys haven't seen these, your running back lines up outside to start the play, then comes into the backfield. And on this one, you have multiple options because you got the buck sweep, and then you have a quick hitter, now screen, smoke screen, whatever you want to call it, to your outside receiver as well. So reload RPO alert buck out of shotgun trio halfback week. You can find in the Georgia State playbook and in the Penn State playbook. So take a look here. Similar concept, except the running back's the one in motion, and then he's coming for the buck sweep, or you can hit the quick hitter. With the way this is leveraged, I think we're going to hand this off on the first play. If we don't get caught from the backside like that, that probably would have been a touchdown. Let's see here on this one. See, a lot of times on this one, you can read the leverage pre-play and know where you want to go. Boom. Quick hitter. Blocks wasn't there. So, unsuccessful in the first 2 times I like this play, but that's all right. Can't all be winners. Let's try the buck sweep again. See if you can not get caught from that backside. Oh, man, I spun the wrong way. Or that would have been 6 right there. But you see how effective the buck sweep can be. Let's see if we can get one here. Of course, Jaheim White is 94 speed. That helps as well. There we go. See the way they backed off there? Easy money. Get 4 or 5 yards right there. Quick hitter on that quick screen. So there's RPO, or reload RPO alert buck, I should say. Wait, that safety's coming down. Let's run one more here and see if we can't hit that screen again, because it looks like we're going to have numbers out there. Yep, 2v2. If they hit their blocks, money. Right there, basically, down to the 1 yard line. So there it is. Now, let's move on to our final play we want to highlight here. And that is out of shotgun wide tray open wing, which I have a mini scheme up for channel members. If you guys hadn't checked that out, a 4-play mini scheme out of wide tray open wing, which I think is a great formation. And I highlighted a couple of plays out of it in our QB runs video as well. But we're going to highlight the RPO alert QB blast. Kind of similar to what one of my favorite RPOs was, if not my very favorite RPO was on 25. But this time you're involving the QB run versus the running back run. And you can find this play here in the Utah playbook, actually, or of course if you want to throw it in a custom like I did. So on this one, basically for me, it's a 2-read thing. I mean, there are other routes. You do have an out route. You do have a streak route on that side. The main route I'm reading is that stick route from Bray. On 25, you guys may remember my favorite play was the RPO peak stick, where you got the option to hand it, or you can hit it on that stick route. Similar concept here, but you hit the stick route or you got the QB blast. Last case scenario, if they're really crashing in, I will hit square, because if they crash in, a lot of times he'll run that backside slant, as he has the option to run a curl or a slant. But ideally, 90% of the time I'm hitting the stick or I'm running the QB blast. So really, you want to read that defender right there that's on Bray. If he stays covering on him, run the quarterback blast. If he comes in, hit that stick route, and you can hit this with a secure catch, get 4 or 5 yards if you need something short, second and medium, third medium. Also, if they come crashing in, you can catch and run after this and still get some big plays despite it being a stick route. Let's take a look here. Boom, there he comes crashing in, and here's a great example of hitting it and then catch and run, and boom, that's 15, 20 yards right there. Let's run it again. See, that time, well, he didn't come up with the catch, but that time is a situation where you want to secure catch it, just get what you can. This time they stick with him, run the QB blast. Look at that. Look where he cleared out with that slant route. We QB blast all the way to the end zone. And that's your 2 main options on this play, that stick and the QB blast. Boom. Left him wide open, hit him. Easy money. Let's get it right there. Basically, close enough. Close enough. We almost got a touchdown on both the stick route and the QB blast. We're not going to get it any better than that. So there's your two reads. That's one of my favorites there to wrap up our 10 favorite RPOs here in this video. Appreciate you guys checking this one out. Plenty more good RPOs where this came from, and plenty more that I highlighted in my mini schemes and in my playbook tips for channel members. So if you haven't yet, consider doing that if you can't get enough content. If these gameplay tips videos aren't enough here on the main channel, get that a little bit extra where I highlight even further how to utilize these and move down the field in game scenarios. So there you have it. There's 10 of my favorite RPOs. Like I said, not an extensive list. There's definitely more that I like to run, some of which you can find in the QB runs video if you haven't checked that out yet here on the channel. But I'm sure there's plenty more RPO plays on this game that I don't even know about quite yet. And if you have one that wasn't included on this video that you really like to run, you want to tell me about it, throw it in the comments. I appreciate those interactions as I continue to try and grow the JCCFB community here on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being a part of that, and appreciate you guys tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.